this video, I'm going to be showcasing some crazy white forest combos that you guys need to know, especially if you're interested in playing the deck. Now, as always, guys, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you stay updated every single time I upload. And without further ado, guys, let's get right into the video. Alright guys, now we are quickly getting into the competition. Now the first one is going to be Astellar plus any spell trap, and I do have deck profile at the end of the video where I'll explain the cards a little better, but Astellar has the effect where you can send one spell trap card from your hand or field and summon one from the deck, and then if a spell trap card is sent to the graveyard to activate a monster effect while this card's in graveyard, you can special summon this card. But from here, guys, we will of course go ahead and play by normal summoning Astellar, using Astellar to send away the spell or trap to summon our Sylvie. Sylvie has the effect where if this card is normal summoned, you can add one white forest spell trap from your deck to your hand. Of course, if this card is normal or special summon, sorry. And then quick effect, if this card's in your graveyard, target one white forest, shuffle it back, and summon her out onto the field. A very, very good card. From here, this will go ahead and trigger to add us our Woes of the White Forest. This is the one that lets us E-Tele and then immediately Synchro Summon. And then all of these spell traps have the effect where if they're sent to the graveyard to activate a monster effect, you can reset the card. That's only once per turn, of course. From here, we can go ahead and synchro these monsters away into our Arcilla, Sinister Soul of the White Forest. Her effect is on summon, she can send one spell trap card from her hand or field and add a White Forest card or one Light Spellcaster monster. You can only gain this effect once per turn. And then Illusion Spellcasters you control gain 500. Also, they cannot be destroyed by card effects. So again, really secret blanket effects is kind of what's really OP about this. But again, we will use her effect. She will go ahead and discard out the Woes, and then on a separate chain, Astellar will trigger because we just discarded it. So this will go ahead and trigger Astellar to go ahead and so chain link 1, chain link 2, of course. So chain link 1, chain link 2, Astellar. So this will set, and then Astellar will trigger to go ahead and summon herself out. Perfect. From here, we get Tails of the White Forest off of Arcilla. Then we can use Tails. Tails says if you control an illusion or spellcaster, add one White Forest. If this card's sent to the graveyard to activate blah blah whatever. So use Tails here. Tails effect here will go ahead and add us our LZ of the White Forest. And then from here, we can go ahead and sync our monsters away into our Diabell. We don't necessarily want to use LZ now because we will not be able to reset the Woe. So we want to use Diabell to kind of get cards back. So she says if she summoned, target one spell trap card in the graveyard and add to hand. One thing really broken about this is this can add like skill drains. It doesn't say like one white forest spell trap. You can add anything. You can even add the card you discard, right? But from here, it doesn't matter what we add here. And then when your opponent activates a card effect, send one spell trap from your hand or field to the graveyard. Summon a level 7 or lower tuner synchro monster anywhere, right? That's really good. But from here, we can go ahead and use the effect on summon to add back the spell trap. Like, it doesn't really matter necessarily, but we can go ahead and add back our Tails. Then use LZ, send the Tails to summon an LZ. LZ has the effect where you can send one and then summon herself and then add one, right? And then if a Light Spellcaster tuner monster is special summoned from the field, you can summon this card out. From here, we can go ahead and discard to go ahead and use her effect to add on resolution, right? And then this will go ahead and reset to add us our last card, which is going to be our Rusia. Rusia says that if you control White Forest summon, you can send one spell trap card, draw a card, and then similar to I believe it's the Sylvie, where she can shuffle back and summon herself out. So from here we summon herself out, and then from here we can go ahead and use the Sylvie to go ahead and summon herself out as well. And then from here, guys, what we can do is we can go ahead and proceed to link summon into I was getting ahead of myself. We make Vsauce Armitara. Vsauce has the effect where when on Synchro Summon, you can add one spell trap that mentions Starfrost. From here, guys, we can go ahead and add us our Vanadium Reframing. This card says this: when a spell trap card or monster effect is activated while you control Synchro monster, negate the activation. Everything else is like literally useless because we don't have like a Visa Starfrost, unless this card's always treated as Visa Starfrost while in the field or graveyard. So it's only on the field, right? But we get the reframing, and then from here we can go ahead and link summon our monsters way into Cellar Rabbit. So now we go into Top Hatter. Top Hatter's effect, again, on summon, you set the trap card that can summon itself out. So we use this to go ahead and set the Azaroon. And then here, guys, what we can do is we can go ahead and proceed to set the reframing and then pass turn. So what do we have on our board? You guys see right here. So we have the Diabell. So when our opponent activates a monster effect or card effect or whatever, we can send one spell trap from our hand or field. So we send the Tails to reset the Tails. And then this will essentially let us summon a tuner synchro. So you can go ahead and summon out our Silvera. You can summon any sort of access. Silvera is the better one because it says on summon, you can book all monsters face down. And then from here, we can do is we can go and use Silvera, book everything, and then we can still use our like Astellar, because Astellar, so technically we chain like 1, chain like 2, so Astellar will resolve because we use Diabell to send, and this will trigger our LZ, this will trigger our Tails to reset itself as well. So you guys can kind of see the recursion starts to add up, right? And then we also have our Azaroon still, which will summon, and then Silhack can pop, and then this can negate. And then we also have our reframing, which is a negate. Then we also have our Woes, which is the E-Tele that enables us to synchro summon. So just off of like 1.5 card combo, we ended on a pretty nasty resource loop. It's especially because these synchro monsters can also come back after these cards get outed. We also have like very annoying cards like these, and then we still have our tails, which will just like facilitate a lot more plays. So that's it for kind of the first bread and butter combo, I would say. Now let's get on to the second combo. All right, guys, now we are getting on to the second combo. Now, again, most of the combos will revolve around Astellar, but again, these combos will like vary depending on what your hand is. And then we have Toy Box, so a new card. So basically this says, from your hand, deck, or face up, choose up to 2 monsters with toy in their original names that can set, and then or you can destroy up to 2 cards in your spell trap card zone. So again, this card is really good, especially if it has like the little golden castle effect, but that's not what we're using, right? So we can go here, we can go ahead and activate Toy Box effect, go ahead and set 2 monsters that can be, so you get tank and soldier. And then from here we can go ahead and proceed to play by normal summoning Astellar, send the toy soldier to go ahead and summon out our Sylvie. Then you can go chain link 1, chain link 2. So again, Sylvie will add, and then toy soldier has the effect where it says, if this set card is spell trap card zone, is sent to graveyard, special summon, this card's normal special summon, add 1 Toy Box. Or if you control Toy Box, you can add level 4 light monster instead. So really important there, because what we're gonna do is we will go ahead and summon a toy soldier, and then we will add the tails off of the Sylvie. And then separate chain toy soldier will go ahead and activate to add us our Rusia. So you guys can see here like just how strong this engine really is, right? So from here we can go ahead and proceed to synchro away into Arcelia. Arcelia effect will go ahead and trigger to discard to go ahead and add us our woes. And again, if you have woes already, like everyone said, just add the effect filter, because you can add a light spellcaster monster, but to each your own, right? So from here we will go ahead and discard, then this will go ahead and trigger, and this will trigger our Astellar as well. I believe it's like on a separate chain, so just remember that, right? So this will trigger our Astellar, then we can go ahead and activate tails to add us our LZ. So now we have all the monsters in rotation. From here, what we can do is we can go ahead and proceed to synchro away into our Diabell's effect on summon will go ahead and add us our tails of the White Forest. And then from here we can use Rusia to special summon herself out, and we can go ahead and use these 2 monsters to go into the Armatara. Use Vsauce, add us our reframing. From here, what we can do is we can go ahead and summon out our LZ by sending away our toy tank, and then this will get us our Astellar. Now from here, well, actually, toy tank will trigger, right? Because they're kind of like artifacts, right? But from here, we have all sorts of other lines to go with. Like, if you play the 8s, you can go into this. If you play the 12, sorry, you can go into this. Toy tank also has the effect where you can tribute himself, summon a level 6 or lower monster from your graveyard. So it's really powerful in that regard. But me personally, I like to do this line here, where what I can do is I can go ahead and I can link these 2 monsters away into our Silhouette Rabbit. Silhouette will go ahead and trigger to set out our Azaroon. Then here we can go ahead and set and pass our turn. So again, it's a very similar board to the last board. We just have a lot more recursion in that regard. And again, like I said before, if you don't play the Vsauce cards and you play other cards, you can end on a pretty nasty board, especially with like a supplemental engine, which I will be showcasing in my third combo. So that's it for the second combo, guys. Now let's get on to the third combo. All right, guys, now we are getting on to the third combo. Now this is what I was saying with the other supplemental engine. So again, Astellar plus any random spell or trap. So we normal Astellar effect, discard the reframing to go ahead and summon out our Sylvie effect. Here will go ahead and add us our tails. Again, if you have woes, you know what I mean, but we get the tails. From here we can go ahead and sync our monsters away into our Arcelia effect will go ahead and trigger to discard the tails to add us our woes. This will trigger the this will trigger the tails and the Astellar to reset themselves. From here we can activate the tails to go ahead and add us our LZ. Perfect. From here, guys, what we can do is we can go ahead and proceed to sync our monsters away into Diabell's effect will trigger to add us back our tails. And then what we can do is we can go ahead and use LZ to send to summon out herself and add us our Rusia. From here, what we can do is we can special summon out the Rusia, and then we can use its effect to discard and draw, because again, we haven't used the woes reset, so you might as well use it now. As opposed to, like, if you wanted, you could use LZ to send to reset, so you have like an extra card, but it doesn't matter, right? And then again, you guys see like I draw skill drain, so this will go ahead and reset our woes. From here, we can go ahead and proceed to synchro our monsters way into Centur-ion Oxala. So this is what I was saying, like after you do the Vsauce play in my combo 2, if you played this, you could go into that line and make it a lot nastier board. From here, we go ahead and get Oxala. Oxala will get a stand up, activate stand up, and then use stand up to discard to go ahead and place our Trudea. Then we can use Trudea to summon herself out, and then use her effect to place herself and Primera into the scale. Summon up Primera, use Primera's effect to add us our Wake Up Centur-ion. From here, guys, we can go ahead and proceed to activate Wake Up, summon a level 8, and then here we can go ahead and sync our monsters away into our Crimson Dragon. From here, Crimson Dragon's effect, if you play Crimson Guy, you can add it. If not, you just use Crimson Dragon, tag out to go into our Blazar Dragon. And we can go ahead and use these 2 monsters to link into our Silhouette Rabbit. This will go ahead and trigger to set our Azaroon. And then what we can do here is we can go ahead and use our Arcelia and our Sylvie, I believe, Rusia and Sylvie, yep, to summon themselves out. And then we can proceed to link these 2 monsters away into an IP Masquerena. And then from here, guys, what we can do is we can go ahead and use the Wake Up Centur-ion to banish itself to set the infinite impermanence. So technically it's not infinite impermanence. You guys will see here it's supposed to be a phalanx. I forgot to put phalanx in the deck, but it is phalanx, and phalanx basically says banish to reborn one monster, and then its attack becomes 1500, right? And that's why kind of why you're wondering why we linked off the Auxilla. You guys will see here very shortly. From here, we can go ahead and banish the phalanx to reborn out our Auxilla, and then once we proceed to the end phase, Auxilla will trigger to put our Primera into the scale. And then from here, you guys can kind of see we have the Trudea, we have the Primera. Make sure you always summon Trudea as an 8, and then we can use stand up to go ahead and synchro summon our monsters away into our Crimson Dragon, then use Crimson Dragon effect to go ahead and tag out target to summon out Calamity, and then we basically lock our opponent out of the game, on top of still having Asdrun for protection, on top of still having IP to go into our SP, on top of still having Woes to E-Telly to go ahead and synchro away as well. So you guys can see here, and one really good thing I like about Blazar is Blazar removes himself from the field, similar to like IP Masquerader, where these two monsters become one. So then we can use Woes to summon out like a Diabell, and then use Diabell to summon out the Sylvie, and then the Arcelia, and then book our opponent. So I mean, like I was saying, guys, that's it for like the first 3 combos. It's a really powerful deck with a lot of supplemental engines. Now let's quickly get into the deck profile. Alright guys, now we are quickly getting into the deck profile. Now again, if you guys liked the video, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see later on or in the future or just whatever. But starting off, guys, we will be playing 3 Astellar, like I said before. On the field, send one spell trap, summon itself, and then if you use it, you can summon itself out, right? So Astellar is kind of one of the main cards that you want to be using in the deck. I think the Runic White Force cards don't play Astellar, specifically because like she doesn't really help when she's on the board as opposed to Elzette. But then speaking of Elzette, we also play Elzette. Elzette says send one spell trap card from the hand or field to the graveyard, summon herself out, and then add. So this one is really good as well because you can send, summon, add, and then she works very well as well. Unfortunately, these cards aren't the tuners. Like it's weird that like the level 2s aren't tuners, but usually they are. But again, teach your own, right? But these are like the main cards you want to open. Then we play the 2 Sylvie and the 1 Rusia. So Sylvie says on normal spell summon, add a White Forest card, spell trap card from your deck to your hand, and then again summon itself out. And then Rusia says you can discard and draw 1 card and then summon itself out, right? So that's it in my opinion. Technically you could play 1 Sylvie and just leave it like this and fit in more non-engine if you wanted, but I just felt like 2 Sylvie was pretty good in that regard. Personally, if you were to play it, I think maybe 2 Rusia would be better because she's technically like the generic extender, but again, teach your own, right? But that's it for like the engine, honestly. And then moving on, we play just hand traps. So we have 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Veiler, 3 Nib, and double Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. So again, that's it for like a pretty good hand trap count. And then we also have the Toy Soldiers, the 1 Toy Tank as well. Really powerful, especially because these cards are monsters, but they can be set in the spell trap card zone. I was thinking about playing like a board breaker list because like I feel like they work better with the spell and traps. But unfortunately, in this format, you just need the hand traps, right? And then we have the 1 Primera, the 1 Gargoyle, the 1 Trudea, the 1 Stand Up, and the 1 Wake Up. You guys can choose to play Emblema. I just personally don't like Emblema because it locks you. But I mean, I know that you can like leave the card set and then like combo, and then when you're ready to synchro summon, then you do it. But to each your own, right? But that's it for like the Centur-ion card. Like I said before, it's a very small engine, right? You probably don't even need to play Gargoyle personally. But then we also have the triple Toy Box. Like I was saying before, Toy Box is really good. Activate Toy Box, set these 2 cards, and then all of their effects get enhanced because we have the Toy Box. So it's really good in that regard. Then we have the triple Tails of the White Forest. I was thinking about actually cutting this card down as well because it says if you control an illusion or spellcaster monster, so like the issue is like I can't just activate it. I have to like normal summon like one of these guys to activate it. So it's not that good as a starter. It's more of an extender. So that's the thing about cutting it down, especially because like we searched this card. We don't really want to open it necessarily. But teach your own, right? And then we have the 1 Woes followed by the triple Imperm and the 1 Asdrun. So again, in my opinion, I feel like this deck is like very consistent. 3, 6, 9, 12, 14 hand traps you play. And then if you wanted to cut, you can cut this down and play 15 hand traps. And then your consistency is still there because like all of these cards are 2 card combos in a sense. And Asdrun is just crazy. But like I said before, moving on to some other tech options, you can play the 1 Reframing, like I said before, if you play the Vsauce Army Tara. So you guys can choose that. You can play Skill Drains in the main deck as well. This card is ridiculous. Like I hate this card. Then you can play the Satellite Warrior because if you synchro summon during our opponent's turn, we can go ahead and destroy cards up to the number of like non-tuners used. Synchro monsters in the graveyard, so it's really good because we'll always have synchro monsters in the graveyard. Then you play Thrust, like I was saying, the board breakers as well, because like if our opponent does something, we can use Thrust to set Woes, to set Tails, to set like any of these cards. So then it makes board breakers a lot better. Again, Lightning Storm, like I said before, for the board breakers. Then Emblema, basically because it says right here, place 1 Centur-ion monster from your deck or spell trap card zone as face up for the rest of this turn while you control that card or any card with the same original name you cannot specify, right? So that's saying that like you can use this to set the stand-up and you're not locked, but if you use Emblema for the monster, then you are locked. So technically you can play it if you think that the Centur-ion cards are really good, but then in my opinion you would play a heavier count. And then again, moving on to the extra guys, you have the one IP, the one SP, because like these two cards are like broken. They should be in every side deck or extra deck if you can play it. Then we have the one Still Hat Rabbit. So again, another part of the really broken generic Link 2s. Then we have the one Appaloosa. This card can probably get cut. Like these two can probably get cut, honestly, but it's just nice to have, right? Then we have the one Zapper Shrimp. I like this card over Formula Synchron because Formula Synchron's a 1 effect, and you'll always be summoning it as Chainlink Tube off of Diabell, so you don't want to miss the timing to draw a card, as opposed to summoning a Zapper Shrimp, where it says if this card is special summoned, you can send one other card from your hand or field to the graveyard, then target one spell trap card you control, destroy it. So this card works very well with the tails because it says if this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a monster effect. So again, it works very well because like you can send, summon, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, send again, reset. So Zapper Shrimp is really good. Then we have the one Silvera, on summon, book everything. Then we have the one Arcelia, on summon, go ahead and search a white forest spell trap or a light spellcaster monster. Like I said before, if you already have this card, you can add the Veiler. We have the one Tri-Edge Master because like you can summon this during your opponent's turn as well, and then 2 and 4 you draw one card, so it's really good. It's very similar to kind of Coral Dragon in that regard, but it is a light monster. Then we have the Diabell, we have the Chaos Angel, so like we can synchro with the Zapper Shrimp and the Diabell into Chaos Angel to send. Then we have the 12, so we have Oxilla, Legacia, then we have the Crimson Dragon followed by the target, so Hot Red, and we have Cosmic Blazar Dragon. But that's it for the video, guys. If you guys liked the video, please go and leave a like. If you guys see this list and you want to change some things, let me know by commenting down below, guys. My name's Hamza, and like I always say, keep on shining, never in dreams. Peace.